Hey, I'm Megan. Welcome to the Bountiful Backyard. Today we're going to be making brioche style hoagie rolls that are going to level up your sandwich game so much. They are light, they're fluffy, and they are perfect. So to start this recipe, we're going to be creating a Tangzhong, which is basically a roux. It's flour, water, and milk mixed together to make pre-gelatinized flour. This is what's going to give our hoagie rolls that really fluffy, light crumb. So first you're going to add in your flour. This is 2 tablespoons. Goodness. And then after that, you're going to add in your milk and your water. So this is 4 tablespoons of milk and 2 tablespoons of water. You're going to add this in, and it's going to go pretty quickly. You want to make sure that you're creating a slurry. So the slurry is what you're going to add back into your dough, and it goes really fast. So be on top of it. And you're just trying to incorporate all of those ingredients. And like that, it's pretty much already done. We just want to make sure there's no lumps, no clumps. And that's it. So this is going to get added back in, but as you can see, it's already mixed. It's already done. It only takes a few seconds. This I'm going to let come down to room temperature. I don't really want it added to my yeast this hot because it can kill off the yeast. So I'm going to let this cool, and I'm going to get started on the rest of my recipe. So now that we are here, we've got all our ingredients ready. I am using a stand mixer. You're more than welcome to use a bread machine. I haven't tested it, so I don't know how well it works, but I can say tried and true stand mixer is great. I like to use a paddle when I'm mixing all of my ingredients to begin with because I just feel like it gives a more consistent, even mix. After that, I will switch to my bread hook so that I can do the kneading that way. But so we're going to start off by adding half a cup of whole milk. This is warmed to a comfortable temperature for your yeast. You don't want it to be too hot or it will kill your yeast. In this half a cup of milk, I also have my sea salt, which is 1 teaspoon of sea salt. I like to dissolve my salt in my milk first because I do use a mineral salt, so mine's a little bit chunkier. If you have fine salt, you don't need to dissolve it first, but I like to just because it does. My salt is very thick. So I'm going to mix that in. I'm going to put that in my mixer, lock my mixer. That is my first step. Then I'm going to add to that 1 tablespoon of yeast, and this is instant yeast. So I don't need to let it bloom. So that is not something that we're concerned about. If you have active yeast, dry active yeast, you need to let it bloom before that. So adding some sort of liquid and sugar to help it go. But this is instant yeast, so I don't need to worry about that. Then to that, I'm going to add my Tangzhong because I want it to be able to cool down a little bit. And since the milk is cooler than the Tangzhong, that does help as well. It is pretty cool. It's about room temperature. It's not something to worry about. But I do want to incorporate it a little bit better and break it down before I add in my flour. So I'm going to add that now and give that a mix. Okay. Now that that's sort of mixed into the milk a little bit, I'm going to scrape off a little bit left. I have 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Give that a quick mix. And then 2.5 cups of flour. I'm going to slowly add this into the mixture. I don't want to fly flour everywhere. Okay, now that's added in. So I'm going to give this a quick little stir. Whoop, see, I'm flinging flour everywhere already. Give this a quick little stir. Make sure everything's coming together. At this point, it's pretty shaggy. We're going to be adding in a little bit more wet ingredient technically. So we are adding in an egg, 1 full egg, and 1 egg yolk to help it incorporate. This I'm going to add in a little bit slowly just to make sure that it's fully incorporated. At this point, it is going to get kind of sticky, and we're going to switch to our bread hook here in just a second. Okay, it is looking a little good. Here we go. My 6-month-old is over there talking to me. Are you saying hi? Yeah, are you mad because I didn't give you any more bread? She was eating a piece of toast. That is one of her favorite snacks right now. It's toast, homemade bread, of course. Okay, so as you can see, it is coming together pretty well. I'm going to get this off of my paddle, and I'm going to switch to my bread hook now, just because it is more incorporated, and it's doing rude. It popped right out. It's doing really well, which is what I'm looking for. All right, let me go drop this in the sink, rinse my hands, and I will be right back to do the rest of this. Winnie, are you talking? Okay, So we've added our dough hook. We're going to start incorporating that with the dough hook so it kind of starts coming together. While we're doing that, while it's coming back together, I'm going to start slowly incorporating 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter that's been softened. So I'm adding in 1 tablespoon. And once I see that that one's been picked up, then I'll start on the next one. All right, now we're going to add 2 tablespoons. This next tablespoon. And then finally our 3rd tablespoon. And when I add this one, I'm actually going to scrape down the sides. Oops, I forgot to lock you. I'm going to scrape down the sides because this dough sometimes does like to stick. It is on the stickier side when you're starting. So it definitely likes to stick to the sides. So I'm going to scrape it down just so it can start to grab it. The dough hook can start to grab it. Now I'm going to lock it this time. All right, here we go. Girl, all right, so it is starting to pick it up, which is what we want. I'm going to let this knead for 5 to 8 minutes. Winnie, goodness gracious. I'm going to let this I'm going to let this knead for 5 to 10 minutes. Check on her, and I'll show you what it looks like in just a couple minutes to see, to give you an idea of what you should be looking for when you're letting this knead. This is how we look before our 5-minute knead. As you can see, it is very sticky along the edges. We're going to give this 5 minutes to knead, and I'll show you probably what it looks like at 3 minutes and what it looks like at 5 minutes. And if we need any more time, we'll go to 8 minutes. This is us for at the 3-minute mark for our kneading. As you can see, it is nicely coming together and it's not sticking to the bowl nearly as much. We've got 2 minutes left on our knead time. We'll come back and see if we need to extend it a little bit longer or if we are good at 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes, so this is all done. It looks great. There's a little bit of sticking to the sides, which is really common, no big deal. So we're gonna pull this off the dough hook, and we're going to shape it a little bit before we put it into a greased bowl. Hello, come off. Now, I will say I'm really lazy and I use the same bowl that I mixed in. I just like to scrape off the sides as much as possible and then I grease it. I've never had any problem with that. If you don't like to do that, then don't do that. That's totally your call. But yeah, see, my dough is doing a really good job staying together. It's all well incorporated. It's got really good texture, not too sticky. I'm winded. I had to take care of a 6-month-old real quick. She is content again. Back happy. I gave her another snack and she is happy as a clam. So I'm going to take this off. Here we go. Looking nice. We're going to get this into a nice ball. Now my bowl does have some remnants, some goo stuck at the bottom. I'm going to put that there and I'm going to quickly scrape this down to incorporate it back into my dough ball before I grease this pan. Now this is going to take me a second. I'm not going to lie, I probably will look crazy doing this just because it is sticking to the bowl like a lot, but that's okay. Let me just use my hands. To be honest, it's a lot faster than trying to use that scrapey thing. But once we have all of that dough off, and see, it's a significant amount of dough. You don't want to miss that. Once we have all that dough off, I'm going to just spray it with a little bit of avocado oil just so it doesn't stick back to itself. And then I'm going to cover it and let that sit at room temperature if you don't have a nice warm area. My oven does a proof setting, so I turn it on proof, let it get warm, and then I turn it off before I put my bread in there. I'm not gonna lie, I have killed bread by forgetting that it's on, and then it got too hot, and I came back to a significantly overproofed mess. Did I bake it anyways? Yes, I did. Was it good? No, not really, but that's okay. That's the fun thing. You get to learn while you do it. So I'm going to spray the inside of this with a little bit of avocado oil. Make sure nothing gets sticky. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that snack not good enough for you, little lady? And then I'm going to take this dough and I'm going to just kind of shape it into a nice little ball before I put it into my bowl. But as you can see, like there's a little bit stuck to me, but that's just because I had to dig it off off the bowl. But it's now that it's incorporated, it's perfect. Okay. Nice little dough ball. Here we go. So that's what we're going to look like before we go into our pan. This is going to sit in our pan. My goodness, girly. I'm so sorry. That snack's not good enough for you. I'll find you another one. We're going to put this in our pan and let this sit for an hour. I'll see you back here in an hour. All right. Cover. And good to go for an hour. So our dough has sat for an hour and it is beautiful. So I'm going to flip this out on a floured surface. I'm going to go ahead and flour my countertop. I'm going to use my handy dandy little flour to get a nice even flour here. You don't need a whole ton of flour. Alexa, stop. That's my timer for my 1 hour. Alexa, Cancel timer.
1 hour timer stopped on Robbie and Megan's Echo.
Lovely. Okay, so our bread timer just went off. I just wanted to check it. It's been an hour. Here we go. She is doubled. She's beautiful. I'm gonna put this behind me and I'm gonna roll this out. It is a little oily from the bottom, obviously, but it's actually really nice feeling dough. I want to get out all of those major big air bubbles. That way when it does its second rise, there aren't those huge air pockets inside of the hoagie rolls. So I'm gonna push this out, give it a look, see, oh, beautiful. And I'm gonna kind of roll it back up to cut it into 6 even pieces. I just kind of like to get some of those initial air pockets out of the way first. So my way of cutting this is I cut it in half, and then I take this piece, and this will be 3 pieces, and this will be 3 pieces. And then I'm going to kind of tuck this back under so that it's an even log. That way I can cut this into 3 even pieces. 1, 2, 3. So we've got 3 even pieces. Now I like to kind of just feel them to make sure they're about the same. That middle portion always is going to be just slightly heavier, so you can always cut a little bit off and stick it on if you need to somewhere else. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing here. 1, 2 to make 3 pieces. And again, I like to just, this one's on the lighter side, so I might take some from one of these pieces and just make this a little bit heavier so that everything is kind of equal. Now I do have a 2-year-old, so if one of these is smaller, that's fine. He doesn't mind. Even. Okay, perfect. So we've got our 6 pieces. I'm going to put those there. I'm going to reflour my surface just because after cutting it with the oil, it does tend to pick up all that excess flour. And now I'm going to flatten each piece out, and I'm going to flatten into a shape of a rectangle so that when I roll it, it keeps that shape. So I flatten out as much as possible. Get out, not up, goodness gracious, get out all of those air bubbles. Do it on both sides. We're going to treat these like sandwich bread, so rolling it in a similar fashion. I'm going to fold here, and then roll, 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 roll. This is my 2-year-old's favorite part. He always likes to do this with us, but it is past his bedtime, so he is already asleep. Both my kiddos are sleeping right now, which is a great time for me. So then I like to roll it out. My aunt taught me how to do this, and she said it's kind of like rolling out Play-Doh when you were a kid, just to kind of get that long, thin shape. And I like to pinch the edges, because if not, you'll get like silly looking edges. But that's okay if you do. Either way. Dig my fingers in, make it look pretty. Now again, these don't have to be perfect. They're for sandwiches. Okay, and just like that, we've got our first hoagie roll. Now we're gonna do that 5 more times. All right, so this is my last one. I'm gonna press this out as flat as I can. This is already starting to sort of do that second rise, so it's got a little bit more air pockets than the first one did. I'm gonna push it out as fast as I can. That way I can give it 1 hour. It's already getting late here. My kids are asleep. I just wanna curl up and eat some ice cream before we go to bed. But these still need to rise for an hour and then bake. So we're gonna get these done as quickly as possible. But this is my last one. I'm gonna roll it out, and then I'm gonna put it on my favorite pan here. My Aunt Allie turned me on to these pans. They're awesome. Before I would have baked these on just like a jelly roll or a cookie sheet, but this works really well, and it gives you that nice crust on the bottom, and kind of keeps the shape as well, so it helps it keep that hoagie roll shape. And it's really great for toasting when you have already got these cooked, but you leave them in the fridge for however long. You can cut open the hoagie rolls, put them on there, and toast them in the oven really well, because it helps kind of with the airflow. So last one, here we go. And then I'm just going to cover these with a towel. And they're not all the same shape. That's okay. Don't worry about it. They're all going to taste the same. They're all going to be delicious, and your sandwiches are going to be top tier. But we're just going to cover these with a towel and let them rest for another 45 minutes to an hour. Just keep an eye on them. You want to make sure they are doubling, maybe a little bit less than doubling in size, but getting nice and fluffy before they go into the oven. So I'll come back when they are ready. All right, so a little quick change. It's jamming time, but this is been about good Lord, my brain. Clearly it's bedtime. This has been about an hour of proofing, getting nice and large. They are nice and fluffy. I'm actually going to score a couple of them. I want to see how that does. I haven't scored them before. But you know what? This is a test. We're going to see how it does. So we're going to score this one and maybe this cute little one here and see if that gives us a difference. 18 to 22 minutes into the oven at 350 degrees. We will see how these do. It's been 20 minutes. I'm going to take these out of the oven, let them cool overnight, and then I'll cut them in the morning. Letting your bread cool, although it's really hard, and trust me, I completely understand. I want to cut into these right now and have a snack. But letting your bread cool is really important because all of that steam on the inside continues to cook. And so as it cools down, it's still cooking on the inside. So once it's fully cooled, then I will cut them out open in the morning and show you guys the results. But let's take them out of the oven. Oh, they are beautiful. Okay. They're very, very hot. Hot, hot, hot. I don't know why I thought, yeah, Megan, touch hot bread. Let those pull apart. Oh, hi, Winnie. Pull those apart. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with those. Those look great. I can't wait to eat a sandwich tomorrow. The scoring, honestly, is just an aesthetic thing. I don't really think it did much of anything for these, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to put these away for the evening. I'm going to bed now because it is 9:42 and it's way past my bedtime. And I'll show you these in the morning. All right, it is the next morning, almost afternoon at this point, but I wanted to have take a look at these and get them cut open to show you what they look like on the inside. So last night, I will admit, I forgot to do an egg milk wash on them. That usually leaves them nice and glossy and pretty. I did not do that. It was 9 o'clock at night when I put these in the oven, and I wasn't going to worry about it. So they are not as shiny as they normally are, but they're still so good. They've got a nice crusty outside, but you can see like they're really light on the inside. So I'm going to cut this open, and my toddler did take a bite out of this one, but that's fine. That could be his for dinner tonight. I'm going to cut this open. Ooh, almost dropped my knife there. So you can see what it looks like. But it is light, it is fluffy. They are so, so yummy. These are going to be for our dinner tonight. We're going to be making pepperoni roast sandwiches, and these are going to be perfect. Like I said, they are super light, not very dense at all, but they make perfect sandwiches. Look at that. Look at that spring back. Beautiful with a little bite taken out of it. Now, I will say these we keep in the fridge. The Tangzhong does help it keep longer, but we keep ours in the fridge. My sister came over and we had sandwiches, and I had some in the fridge that were like probably a week old. And I will say that they were a little dense because they've been in the fridge for so long. So these, if you want them nice and fluffy, I would say eat them within the first couple, like 3 or 4 days. I haven't left them on the counter to see how fast they mold. They usually get eaten before that has a chance to happen. But if you do keep them in the fridge like we do, definitely don't keep them for longer than 3, 4, 5 days before you eat them because they can become a little bit dense in the fridge. Other than that, these are ready to go for our dinner tonight. I'll drop the recipe down below so you can follow along if you're interested. Let me know if you do and how they turn out for you. Just wanted to show up close and personal this beautiful crumb. Super fluffy, like I said. Just yum, delicious. Cannot wait to eat these tonight. If you make these, let me know down in the comments below and tell me how they turned out for you. Thanks for joining. We'll see you in the next one.